on it if she comes.
Okay, okay, please. Oh, wait, and now it seems that she is here. I have to see. Ah, here
Do
is
you guys know if
Karin. Yes, yes, Karin.
if premium Zoom accounts have like the option to have like more than one host, admin, whatever?
Hello, Karin. I just told them about you, that you're from famous filmmakers and that you're in Canada, and I told them about your niece. Okay, and now let me finish this and we'll talk later. Okay. Insert from the beginning. Yes, and I told you about the author because here I guess Karin, she knows a bit about European cinema too. Because for example in the 60s the authors want to indulge themselves that they are big artists and that they cannot that nobody can oppose them, you know. But also this was a kind of elitist academic approach, and because nobody could afford to see this movie, and this became a sort of an isolated issue. Although there were many talks about this, and this is the only period of the cinema where really movies that were not like hits, but they were really with artistic values, like paintings, you know, and heavy literature. They were, everybody was consuming them. But here we can see that actually this can be a non-ethical issue too, because nobody can be so well educated to understand these movies, I would say. It's fair first to educate everybody, and then everybody can consume them. It's not good for those that this heavy education is not available. And now I placed some slides for you. Please unmute yourselves. Do you know which is the man from the first picture? He's D.W. Griffith, and he is considered to make this trouble with the QQ clans because he made a movie Birth of the Nation, and then there were many violent demonstrations because they considered it this a very provocative movie. But on the other side, he was also a great artist. So this is this issue: shall we consume them? This his movie because he was kind of a controversial personality, or we should just focus on the quality of the work? And here we have also Charlie Chaplin, and he believed that, for example, it's good to be, because during the World War II, he was always very left, and he joined the resistance. But then after the World War II, they found him too left. He never required for American citizenship, and when he was on vacation in Europe, he was denied to re-enter, and he stayed in Europe forever because they were considering him that he had a connection with the communists, and he was paying them many times. I read the interviews with Vladimir Dedier with him, and he was sent from Tito to America, and he really made him, and he confined that he was a communist. But what else he did, I don't know really, and no, perhaps we'll never find out. He married the daughter of the big writer Eugene O'Neill, and he had many children, and one of them is Geraldina Chaplin. She interpreted our Mother Teresa, and she won an Emmy for this television production. And also Ben Chaplin is his nephew. What is do you know which is the first, the lady here?
The first lady?
Yes, the lady. Do you know who is this? She's an actress, but do you know who is she? Her name is Emmanuelle Bear. She played, for example, you know her. She's a French actress. Undoubtedly you know her from Mission Impossible Tom Cruise, and she decided that it is very ethical to go to sleep with the migrants. But later, her contract with Lancôme was banned because they didn't want it her to be. They told her that she's inadequate, but actually they all think it's because she joined them, and also she was very much repressed afterwards and followed, very much like now it was happening with Ronan Farrow, sorry, and for example, they said that she destroyed the rainforest because the paparazzi found out that she was always buying wine in wooden boxes, not in not in plastic, and because she was using wood, she was like bad mouthed on all social networks and everything, which is stupid, you know. And the other guy, does anybody know who is he? He's the director of Dogville with Nicole Kidman, you know, and also Mandalay with Bruce Dallas Howard. But anyway, he's like hardcore European author or Danish. He originated from this Danish school of movies, and he was considered to be a Nazist, and now everybody is boycotting his movies, but I don't know it because at one point he was considered to be a communist, and actually he was considered because at one interview he says my parents were colonists, but the microphone of the interview wasn't an expensive one, I guess, and they heard him wrongly, so everything is possible. And now we have this, I guess you all know which are these two ones, and we'll talk, for example, Woody Allen. This is another ethical issue about the private lives, and when we don't know whether we should know their private lives because the Constitution guarantees the privacy of all citizens, including the president. But sorry. Okay, we have another guest from Italy, I guess. Did she enter? Can you see? Covelli. Okay, I said yes, admit. I wrote admit. I don't know. I guess she's, or maybe it's from here. I don't know. Okay, so Woody Allen, he abused his daughter, 4 years old daughter, because but on the other hand, Mia Farrow, she was beating her adopted daughter with a hairbrush, calling her moronic and stupid. And when she was, because they found her eating soap on the street of Seoul, and she was very poor, and she couldn't read and write, but she was throwing her these toys for learning the spelling, and she was abusive and she couldn't learn because she experienced violence, she says. So we don't know, but obviously, how about the lives of the children? I think we should put them on the first place, and we are all occupying with these two, like so the physical abuse and the sexual abuse. And I think we should more focus on it is a. Okay, now I should go to the other, okay? And now we have here the example of Jean Seberg. She was giving money for the Black Panther terrorist organization. And in one case, a bomb exploded in the kindergarten and 4 children died, but in the movie, I saw the movie, it says only 1 child died because the other 3 are Canadian citizens and they didn't count them. And actually she lost her daughter due to the stress of what she was going on. And I think this movie is very unethical about her life because it is about that only the life of her daughter matters, not of these children that died in the explosion, and which is a very bad, I think, because the Black community didn't want it to associate themselves with the Black Panther movement, but she thought that she should push them, and so that they will have to, and she pushed into terrorism many people that didn't want it to join actually. And now we have this this is actually one of the best directors of the other pictures, one of the best directors of all times, and one of the first female directors. Her name is Anna Svarda, and she's like, she really made a revolution in editing and storytelling, and she's really the best. By the way, her father is from northern Greece, so her family name is Vardar, you know, and not Varda, Anna Varda. She won an Oscar for life achievement, I think 4 years ago, which was presented to her like from Angelina Jolie, but she didn't attend the ceremony, which I think it's good because she also made documentaries about Black Panther, and um, I think this is not very ethical, although they were very popular. They were hip in these years. Everybody was smoking pot and everything. It was hilarious. But I think her movies are not so ethical as maybe they seemed in the time when they were first released. By the way, her cousin, he's American citizen, and she made a documentary about him. His name is Yancho. Yancho. And do you know, this is the ethical question, we now will start the debate. Do you know who is this guy? He's a Dusan Makavev. He was on Fulbright scholarship in the 60s, and he made he made international hits like Coca-Cola Kid with the brother of Julia Roberts, Eric Roberts, or in one movie Manifesto, shot in Slovenia with Eric Stoltz. But he came back, but he was blacklisted during Yugoslavia, and because they didn't like it, he was educated on the West, and he was making films in East. So his movies were blacklisted, and there were many cases of this sort in Yugoslavia and in the neighboring questions. So we'll continue our debate in the direction whether the director should care more about himself, not to end up in jail, or he should end up in jail and says everything what he thinks really about. Thank you. Okay. Hello, Koveli. I hope I let you in on time. Yes. Can you unmute yourself? Okay. Tell me if I missed anything. Yes, Karim Chaplin. He's your favorite. Well, I'm not very well, but I think it's a controversial issue about Consalic because, for example, I mailed in this group once a link from the Harvard University, and the PhD candidate from there, and the professor Hallie Joel Schneider and Andrew James Norton, they gave me a link to sign the petition about the arrested the director in Iran, and I signed it, and my name is aside on this petition aside Steven Soderbergh and Francis Ford Coppola. But later it appeared that she was really doing this, people. So maybe we don't know. Maybe this is just if you want to say something about this, Karin, please feel free to say it on French, and I will translate it. Yes, please join, Karin. Okay. So she's not. Do you have? What do you think about the repression of the artists in our neighborhood, in our region, and why do you think there's less and less solidarity each day? Because, for example, I remember when Milos Forman ran away from Czech Republic. And when this writer Milan Kundera ran away, there was a lot of solidarity for them. Or for example, when Yang Nimo was banned in China, whole world wrote a petition, and now nobody is helping them. How about Oleg Sentsov? Karin, you know, he was arrested because he was helping the revolutionaries in Ukraine, and he was kidnapped and sent to a prison in Russia. And I signed the petition for his relief. By the way, me and Labina Mitevska, we are the only ones that signed the petition for his relief. And I'm glad that the European Film Academy finally decided to ban the Russian movies from awards, because they really, what they did is something that is really unethical. So do you think it's unethical, and that he was kidnapped? I think you all agree about Oleg Sentsov. You know about Oleg Sentsov, yes? No? So he was with the Ukrainian demonstrators, and I think with a helicopter they kidnapped him. He's a director, Ukrainian director, and they kidnapped him and they brought him in. Russia there, and he's still there. And there are some rumors that they will let him, but all this is kind of, you know, with the veil of the mystery, is isolated, and unfortunately we cannot help all these people as much as we should. But please tell me, what do you think about Dusan Makaveyev? Have you heard anything about him? No?
Igor,
Yes?
could you please translate what she wrote in French?
Ah, okay. I didn't. This is his movie is all about ethics. This is movie. This is the most ethical movie I know about. This is
It says this is about ethics. Which movie is the most ethical movie you know? Quel est le film le plus éthique que vous connaissez?
Not this, but
Which
is the most.
Which is the most ethical movie you know?
Yes, the most ethical movie I know is Lorenzo's Oil. It's about against.
I've seen it, yes.
It's against the industry, against
Pharmaceutical industry.
And and it's very difficult because they can sue still, and they discovered it is about a pair that they discovered a cure for myelin. Their child had this terrible disease and was losing myelin, and by enhancing the level of the bad oil, they enhanced the level of the good oil in its blood, and that's how they began to increase the level of myelin in the blood of their son, and they hope that they will raise it. They're still working to find a cure how to raise it completely, because he couldn't even talk, and now he can talk, but he cannot walk. So for me, yes, from George Miller with Susan Sarandon and Nick Nolte, Lorenzo's Oil, the movie, and this is the most favorable movie of Quentin Tarantino too.
It's a movie about father trying to find a cure for his son, who the medical world dismisses. It's incurable, but he strives like during years and years of research to find a cure, and they finally do it, but it's not accepted by the pharmaceutical industry, but they manage to cure their kid. Everyone should see it. It's a great movie.
Yes, and this is the director of the Mad Max franchise. but it is an American movie, it's not Australian. So now we are going to the question that we acquainted yesterday. Sophie, do you think movies are art or media?
Both.
I would say
Movies
it
art and
like
they
both, but still it depends on the genre of the movie, you know? Because if that's I know, a drama or some musical, it can be more art directed. But if it's some other kind of movie, it can be more like media, like sharing a message, having a hidden message or something.
Et vous, mademoiselle Karine, qu'est-ce que vous pensez? Le movie, c'est en forme de art ou de média? Comme vous? Karine? And sorry, you Covelli, are you maybe are you from here or from Italy perhaps? I can ask you in Italian if you like. Ok, allora che voi pensate, signora? Voi siete signora o signore? Allora, che voi pensate che cinema è forma di medio come televisione di posta o una forma di arte? Cinema è arte o media? Karin is telling us it's a form of artistic media. Karin in Italian. And Covelli is telling us neither in the chat line. So, but then if it's neither, then it's what I guess you think it's entertainment. Covelli? C'est une forme d'endovinant, entertainment. She says no, it is, or he says it is what it is. Okay. Sei un grande filosofia e io l'ho incontrato anche, l'ho detto al signore Umberto Eco. Umberto Eco pensi che è arte. Questo è fondatore dell'Accademia di Dance. Allora, now the second question. What do you think historically about film history?
What was the question again, Igor?
What do you know historically about American film history?
Oh, I think I know one thing. I think the first colored American movie was The Wizard of Oz, if I'm not wrong. I heard it somewhere.
Yes, and I think it's also art, it's entertainment, but it's also art, but it's also media, but most of I think it is media because it influences a lot for me, because that's why we like to consume it, because we need to restore our ethical code. And that's why we consume only good movies where the good characters are winning. It's not like in, for example, even in literature, we can see where the bad characters are winning, but not in cinema. And for example, in this movie, we see the usage of color. Like in one shot, the wallpapers are green and the carriage is green and the costumes are again green. And in the next scene, scene, we can see all this in red, for example. And it is the same like 45 years afterwards in the Cook, his mistress and the gangman from Peter Greenaway. This is very art movie. So I would point that this is also art because Greenaway is considered a high art movie. And look, they did this 40 years before Greenaway. So the next question is, do you think filmmakers have a responsibility to be ethical? Are they? You can connect this with Woody Allen and Mia Farrow if you like. Or this is a scary question for you.
Like
In what
ethical
way
in real
ethical?
life?
Yeah.
Ethical in real life or on screen?
Both.
A lot of the artists, not just movie artists, weren't ethical in real life. Even
Yes.
in the Renaissance, many of the painters weren't ethical. Many of them were embroiled in scandals, murder scandals, money embezzlement, and so on, rape. But they were considered some of the greatest artists who lived, who ever lived. Talking about the painters and also composers and writers as well.
And for example, Bertolt Brecht is a very good writer, but we are not very rarely staging him and not reading him because he was beating his wife, and he got away with it because he was close with the communist authorities, and also because he was close with the Secret Service. And for example, now in Western Europe, they banned all the books from Ginter Grass because it appeared that he was collaborator of the Secret Service. The same with Milan Kundera. So I think it matters also as a person how it is, because then this puts in a shade his artistic work.
It's also the case with Roman Polanski. Like he is not allowed to go back to the United States after he flee from the United States in the late 1970s after he was accused of raping a minor in the late 60s, and he hasn't returned there yet, although he received Oscar like for the piano player, I think.
Yes, but for example, for Roman Polanski, I would disagree because the girl said then and now, and she never received any money from him, that he didn't rape her. But again, they claim.
Yeah, it is said that he drugged her. He put something in her drink, and he took advantage of her, and she was a minor, like 12 or 13 years old, I think.
Guys, but are we talking like ethical in real life or in
Or
a professional
screen.
way? On
Both,
screen.
both.
I don't think they're ethical.
I unfortunately I have to tell you that in real life, unfortunately, they are not ethical because, and still they are, but it's getting better now with these latest scandals. But I know for myself that because everywhere where we are filming, those that are dealing drugs, they're going together with us. And it's like this film industry is glued with this drug dealing, and it's really scary, and almost nobody talks about it. And I think this is why it is important that the filmmakers are themselves ethical, because this industry is connected with other industries or branches of industries and other economical branches, like I said. And if we don't take care about themselves and their movies, we can make unethical everything. And luckily, we never did till now. Though I've seen those Nazi movies that were produced, and some of them they even won international prizes. And the first Titanic movie was filmed during this period, and in it Jews are portrayed like villains, like they're greedy, and that's why all this was this tragedy happened.
And when we say unethical movie production, we also include the sexual abuse different directors have done so they could put different actresses and actors in the spotlight, like with Harvey Weinstein, or and some other. I think there have been different accusations with Kevin Spacey, probably some other actor. I don't remember the name right now. And the problem is that we don't know until they reveal it. Like Kevin Spacey, he was probably one of her favorite actors. His movies are great, but now we learn that he's
abuser.
Even though I don't think he has been found, I don't think he has been found guilty yet. Unlike Harvey Weinstein, who has been who's in jail. Yeah.
He was dismissed. He was dismissed from the very popular TV show House of Cards after
Yes.
the accusation appeared
Yeah,
against
but
him.
then
And
the last season of that show was a failure without him. The ratings were all down.
yes, and there was another movie called All the Money in the World, which in which he played this aging millionaire, American millionaire, Getty, who lives in London, who nephew gets kidnapped in Italy, and it's based on true story. Like, and they want a big ransom. That's what the movie is about. But Kevin Spacey was dismissed. He wasn't. He didn't play the aging billionaire. The role was played by another guy who was nominated for Oscar for that particular role. So you could say like he lost lots of his reputation and his roles and money after the accusations against him appeared. I'm talking about Kevin Spacey. Yes,
I have to
but
tell you, I
there
consider
are many others.
Should we separate the art and the artist?
Private life from
Like, is it okay if we enjoy the movies of Kevin Spacey, or we enjoy the drawings of an artist that's, I don't know, a rapist or a criminal? Should we do a separation between the art and the artist?
his private life.
I think we shouldn't, because it's unethical by itself. Because not only that, for example, Weinstein, he was raping women, but also he was stealing our projects, and that is a fact, because he was really a villain. And if you're a villain in one subject, then you'll try in one field, you'll try to get away with it, and you'll become a villain in another area, and in another, and in another. Like he was hiring the Mossad agents and KGB agents to silence and to find dirt and to pretend they're friends of the people that were writing against him. And that's why we have to protect our civilization from evil. And that's why we shouldn't consider them. Hitler was a painter, and he was a very innovative, and now they're doing what he innovated. He invented a complementary system of painting, because he says in the nature everything is with complementary color. Mother Nature.
Hitler.
Yes.
Hitler was a failed painter. The thing about his paintings is that he dismissed all the modern art as degenerate art. And the thing about his paintings, if you look at them, none of his paintings have people painted in them. He paints buildings, plazas. He paints like cities, but there are no people in any of his buildings or in any of his paintings. And the thing is, his art is considered to be, I think, trifle and cliche, because there's nothing new about it that wasn't present in the paintings of the 19th century. So he's dismissed as a failed painter. He tried to enroll at the painting academy in Vienna, but they rejected him, and he tried to enroll once again, like twice, and they rejected him again, and he felt like rejected. But he liked painting. Like he would make a living out of painting postcards of I don't know, city plazas or parts of the city, like buildings. But he never really made it as an artist. He wasn't.
Yeah,
He wasn't a
born
distinguished artist.
to be an artist.
He wanted
As you
to
guys
become
know,
a painter.
Yeah, I know, but that wasn't like really his talent, I would say. If you've seen his speeches are like extremely convincing, and
Yes,
that's a talent, if you will.
Yeah, he became like a great speech giver, orator, so to speak. Like he found his calling, but but judging by the accounts of him, he wasn't very intelligent. That intelligent. He was, but not that
I have
intelligent.
to inform you that now they find the data that he finished actually painting in Venice, and there are some guys that think that he's. I disagree with them. I think like you, Vasco, but they think that he was very good, and they think that he was also an architect, that he created that bridge in grass, and believe it or not, in Skopje, the one which is.
He liked architecture, yes.
Yes, and the bridge that is aside the Holiday Inn in Skopje, that is his design. And I have to answer this question. What about Tarkovsky, the most ethical? Well, I don't think he's very ethical himself, Tarkovsky, because he stole the scene from the Bell, from Andrei Rublev. He stole it from the German poet Friedrich Schiller, and in Cannes Film Festival they asked him, why did you, so he was a plagiarist in many instances, and they asked him, why did you stole this scene? And he says, I didn't have to write about it, it's obvious, and he's such a big poet, you know, and it's his honor. So he's also in a way very controversial. He's actually, nobody knows, he's actually a Polish nationality. He's a Catholic, because in Russia all Poles were educators of the families, and French people, monsieur, they were responsible for their manners, for the aristocracy.
Okay, Igor, we have less than a minute, so I think we should probably stop there.
Yeah, there are 3 questions more. I think we should continue, yes? And
I think that's it for today. Wait, hold on. I just want to wrap up. Thank you to Igor for leading today's club. If you're interested in leading a club, I'm dropping the form in the link here, so fill that out and I'll get in touch with you. I don't know, any announcements from Vlora? We probably have movie club on Saturday.
Yes, Sophie, we only have the movie club on Saturday for now. If there is any update, we will post it on our Facebook page.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Thank you.
And I guess now you can talk until we get cut off.
Okay, I just wanted to say something, add something on the subject of plagiarism. There's a famous saying by the British playwright Oscar Wilde, whom I believe you've all heard about. It says, talent borrows, genius steals.